Yo, yo, what's up, New York Stilo? Before I start this video, I want to give you mad props on all the success that you have had, your knowledge of the saltwater industry, and the help that you provide people is just an amazing thing. If I had not stumbled upon you, a little while ago, during the summer, you know, you definitely answered a lot of questions for me, and so I just want to say, mad props to you, and keep it up and keep doing what you're doing. I love the new intro, outro that you got going. It's looking really professional and stuff like that. So, my hat's off to you. This video that I am making is especially for you to try to help me in my decision on whether or not I want to break this tank all the way down, sterilize it, and start over. I want your help to help me diagnose if I have the old tank syndrome. Okay, so let's look in some of the problems that I'm having, because there are good things that are still happening. So it's kind of hard for me to just say, forget it and start over. I have already gotten in touch with a couple of friends that are also in the hobby, and I have a place for my corals and fish to go should I decide that I'm going to start scratch. I don't want to do that because these corals, as you'll see, that's one of the good things that is happening in this tank. Okay, so let's get right into it here. My main reason, of course, is the green hair algae. Now, as you know, or probably don't know, and if you don't, I have videos posted. I went through this green hair algae stage, and I thought that I had remedied the situation, because while the tank was empty, except for the live rock and maybe a couple of fish, I just turned all the lights off. I continued doing my water changes, and all of the algae in there just disappeared. And I did that for 2.5, 3 months. So I was like, oh man, this rock here should be all clear. I am running GFO as well as carbon, which you'll see another one of the problems in my sump that I'm going to try to address to you, and see what you think about that. But I had sworn that I had taken care of all of the algae. I even swapped out a lot of the rock for some rock that I had in the garage, and I thought that I was on the right track. Then I started seeing this happen, where some of the rock that I left in there started getting the green hair algae again. Okay, and so I was like, what's going on with this? I was like really shocked that it was growing back on some of the old rock that I had in there. Let me show you some more spots. Right there. And you can see it. And this is, like I said, the old rock that was in there. The new rock, nothing is happening whatsoever. To the contrary, it's starting to turn, the green, and then it's starting to get coralline algae. Okay. But as I pan across the tank and I show you these spots on here that have the algae on the old rock, it started making me think that I'm not going to be able to get rid of this entirely without taking this old rock out and cooking it, or just getting rid of it entirely. Now these are the, looks like the most affected areas that I've been showing you here. There's also a rock that was from before, and you can see that there's spots on there as well. But one of the good things is that this rock has grown the button polyps all over it, whereas before, especially during the lights out period, I thought that this rock would just, I was just writing it off. You know, I was thinking that I was not going to, you know, see any more corals on here, but as you can see, it has a lot of coral button polyps on there. And then of course you see the spots of the green hair algae. Here are some of the newer pieces, which were actually dry rock that had been kept in salt water for months before it was going to be for another tank that I was going to set up, and I just never did. And so this rock has been turning green, and now you can see the purple coralline algae on there, and none of this rock has any green hair algae. As for the sand in here, I'm not sure what's going on with that. I mean, that seems to be healthy. I mean, I have the bubbles in here, and when, like you said, when you move the surface is agitated, you know, bubbles are always coming out of the sand, which should mean that there's good life in there. And I have all kinds of holes in here where the air bubbles in, showing that there's a lot of life in there. Okay. Now let's look at some of the positive things. I mean, I just got these corals not too long ago, and you can see them in my other video when I first got them. And as you can see, they're doing so good in here. Look at this hammer. I have the mp40 set to wave mode, so it's just flowing in the wave, doing so well. Look at these, I believe these are candy cane coral, and as you can see, these things are just opened up so nicely. You can actually see them moving in the fleshy part of them, just moving with the current. Over here we have the bubble coral. It's doing great, just doing excellent. We have a flower pot over here doing well. And then this green mushroom rock has just grown. I mean, it wasn't even touching that rock before, and they're just growing so much. Here's the other coral, and I'm not sure what it is, but it's doing very well. It hasn't lost any color. It looks really plump. Then we come over here. Here's another rock. And this rock was in here previously. And some more button polyps, and they're doing great. Taking you over to the red brain coral. This thing is doing good. It's really plump, and the color is just great on it. Coming down here to some of this stuff is on the sand because it fell and I kind of got lazy and just left it there. But these recordias, this is I wish I had your camera because I'd be able to focus in better. This flip does not have that capacity, and so you can see that they're doing well. I have another mushroom rock here doing well. it has grown since it's been in here. This is like a neon green mushroom is doing excellent, as well as this green Recordia over here. If you want to see something that's really grown, look at this soft coral. Since it's been in here, this thing has just expanded and taken off. And it's doing well. There's even, I don't know if you can make that out, but there's a SBS coral in here that has just been doing great, along with this leather. It's growing, as well as the purple mushroom rock. Look at that big purple mushroom rock back in there that's on that rock. And then my frog spawn is doing great. I've had a couple of fish losses, and I don't know what to attribute that to. I mean, I feed them. The water quality is good. And I do plan on, whatever I do, if I just try to keep what I have here, and I'm going to take all this rock out and rearrange it again, because I want more of an open, like minimalistic type of aquascape. And everything just seems to be doing good. Only thing that's bad is the hair algae. So that's really got me frustrated. I'm torn between what I should do. So I'm hoping your advice is definitely something that I would like. Now let me take you to one of the other problems that I seem to be having, and that is down here in the sump. If you look on my videos, you will see my sump, and you will see that it was really clean. And now look at it. It's got algae all in here, and I don't know if it's just I have to clean it more often. I mean, look at the hair algae on the pump. The heater is in here, and it has like a crust, and I think that that's because my magnesium, and so it's precipitating a little bit on there. So I need to get my magnesium up. But just the amount of algae that grows in here. I mean, I do have the lights on 24/7, but you can't even really see the Kato in here. And there's a lot in there, and that has grown significantly as my nitrates are at like 1. They can probably go to 0. I haven't tested, but I'm just really surprised at the amount. This is where the return is, and there's my mag pump, and it just has, I don't know if I just need to just clean it every week after I clean it. It's just, I didn't know if that had anything to do with what's going on with the old tank syndrome or not. This is where the GFO is, and if you look, there's algae even in there. And I'm like, this is where all the phosphorus should be 0, as which it is in my tank, in the water, but you shouldn't see any, I would think, in here. The positives on the sump is, of course, the light is doing great, and then I have the SWC comb skimmer, which is doing its job very well. I just cleaned it out, so it's just now starting to start foaming up and start taking the stuff out, but it does a great job. I also stepped up, as you can see here, I have a auto top-off system, which I did not have before. And this is the reservoir right here. You can see that it has a nice little setup here with the pump right there, and it just goes in through here, and this is a 6.5 gallon. So New York Stilo, any information, anything, suggestions that you have for me, please let me know. I have a feeling I'm weighing more towards get rid of everything and start over, but at the same time, I think that I might just be able to replace that old rock, all of it, and come up with a new aquascape with the new rock, some new pieces of new rock, and then just move the corals around. Let me know what you think. Love what you're doing, and look forward to hearing back from you. Talk to you soon.